walk way faster than most people because they're doing this.
So wait, move up
like
to the microphone.
It's like they're prematurely old or something, and they're out of it. They're just distracted. They're just not fully present. They're zombies.
I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem.
It's freaky, and it's only going to get worse. That's the thing.
It's going to get way worse with the VR stuff. But I don't think it doesn't make sense that people would walk around New York with a VR headset.
Well, no, but what if they had the equivalent of Google Glass, more evolved version of Google Glass?
You said it, man.
But what about their phones? Do people do that as they're walking? Is that happening?
You mean their watches?
Their watches.
Yeah. People, they don't stare at their watches.
Like they stare at their phones.
Right. A watch is only going to give you very minimal surface level information.
Oh, sure.
Right? Just the time, the date.
Good. I'm not missing out.
Right. You don't wear a watch either.
I don't wear a watch.
And you have a flip phone?
And I don't wear a ring either. And I have a flip phone.
How's your wife feel about that?
She did mention it recently.
Yeah, what'd she say?
We've been together 31 years, and she did say something about not wearing the ring.
So have you ever worn a ring?
I did when I first got married.
And then what was the day that you took the ring off? And you were like...
Was it a special day?
You were like, you're like,
I'm done with this.
It was August 3rd, 1980.
No, but you don't remember the circumstances? Like
I just said I don't, because I kept taking it off and like putting it on the, in the bathroom on the sink. Because I said, I guess I just don't like wearing rings, I don't like wearing watches. I don't like wearing rings. I kept putting it there. And
so it was a conscious decision.
And then I just said, I'm not going to wear it.
But it was a conscious decision.
It was a very long time ago.
And it was a decision you made to say, hey, I'm just not going to wear this anymore.
Here's the deep, dark secret.
Yeah.
I don't know where the ring is.
That's not
So if she ever says, you should just put on the ring for this thing,
occasion,
that'll be a bad day.
You should just buy like a 12-pack or something.
Yeah, get yourself,
But she knows what
the ring
looks
pack.
like. I know what the ring looks like.
But you just don't know its location.
I just don't know where it is.
All right.
So it's safe wherever it is.
Wherever it is, it's very safe.
Going back to the phone thing though, what has you upset about? I mean, I
walk
can identify
relatively fast, and they're always in the way because they're walking like zombies.
The
they're not there.
They don't stay on one side either because they kind of just waddle.
They waddle,
and you're trying to get around them, and they're just kind of still. You can tell either that they're looking on a phone, they're texting,
right,
or if they're messing around with music. Music's usually much faster. I see people tap,
whatever.
tap.
Right? Yeah.
It's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. After E3, I was just out there coming back and seeing all the VR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It makes those problems seem real small.
Oh.
Because I think we're headed for a very different way of life in the next 20 years.
Anything good?
I mean, if you like escaping the, the shackles of reality.
Theme, we have a penis theme today.
Okay, good to know.
So when we have the streaming, when we have the strap on for the games,
yeah,
I'll give you a call. And I'll be
I don't want to be involved with that.
No, for watching porn and stuff with the attachments.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Are you going to be able to handle that?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I want that.
Well, I guess this is the start of the show then.
It's got to be.
Yes. Because where else can you start?
Do I have to wear these? I don't have to.
You don't have to, but a good podcast guest wears them so they know.
Jewish guilt or something?
No, this has nothing to do with being Jewish. It has to do everything with being,
He's implying I'm a bad podcast guest if I don't wear them.
Well, no, it would just be your first time not having worn them.
Oh.
And the reason people wear headphones when they do podcasts is so they can hear their own level and know if and when they drop out.
That's why?
Yeah, of course. You're an audio guy.
You could just tell me that.
I could, but it's much easier.
Speak up, Steve. Speak up.
Exactly. Who wants to hear that? It's fine. Put them on.
Oh, God. It's so freaking loud.
Oh, God. Lower?
Yeah, a little more.
How's that, Steve?
Okay.
God, it's like...
It's basically off. Okay.
I just went from 12 to like 5 o'clock for you.
And you really hear the sound coming out of like those high frequency things still?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I still hear...
Well, that won't last.
You say that, and you gave me that hearing test when I first met you, and I had the hearing of like a 9-year-old.
Good.
And I can still hear weird buzzing everywhere I go. It's a curse.
It is.
It's a curse.
It is.
The world is not sonically appropriate for me.
No.
So if you want to know just what the hell's going on in this program, Steve Guttenberg on the program.
Sphere.
Mr. Sphere, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Thanks for being here.
I love it here.
I, as Akhtar, how was it holding it down while I was gone?
It was a good time. Bridget was in, and we were talking about some really stupid stuff.
Well, that's okay. I guess.
Yeah, it was completely appropriate.
It was stupid or good? It was a good.
We talked about this red hamburger from Burger King Japan.
Okay.
And the bun is as red as Steve's shirt, and it's got red cheese on it. And Bridget posited because it's a color in nature, it's not disgusting. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. It didn't look as disgusting when she explained that.
But why would a completely red hamburger? That to me sounds disgusting.
Well, the burger itself is still brown.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
blood.
Blood. Yeah. We get it.
So that's what we. So yeah, you could listen to that.
She spent like 90 minutes on a red.
It was
hamburger?
full on 90. No, no. It talked about for 10 minutes. But
Wow.
So whenever Steve comes on, he's always got this is no secret. He's got that chicken scratch little list of stuff he wants to talk about. There it is.
There's no video.
Right there's your Foley artistry work for the week.
Yep.
I get these emails from him, man. He sends his email. Let me read what he wrote. He goes, "Glow in the dark condoms is the subject.
Yeah.
Glow in the dark condoms."
it didn't go to your spam folder immediately.
No.
That wasn't the
Impressive.
lead though. The lead was the gold-plated penis.
The gold-plated penis. And what did you say? You're like,
I'm
we
going to start a
have to talk
band,
about this.
The gold-plated penis.
I got to open this stuff in incognito because I don't want Google giving me suggestions on my phone later on. Oh, by the way, you did look at gold-plated penis. Did you want more news stories on this?
So I saw that from Steve, and I was like, all right, I'm loving where Friday's going to go.
So there's this 17-year-old man, Nazario Concheza Gonzalez.
Yeah.
He's a gang member in L.A., or he was.
He's got a few face tattoos, if that helps paint the picture.
He looks the part.
Yeah.
And he got it into his head. He needed a gold-plated penis. So how do you do that? You'd wonder, like, how do you do that? You get to say, I want to have a gold-plated penis. Well, thanks to the internet, I guess you can figure it out. But anyway, it first involves, before you get to put the gold on, you have to plate your penis with lead.
You have to do what first?
Lead. First you plate it with lead.
Plate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's electrodes involved.
So wait a second. So there's someone out there who's done the process.
He did it. He's
This
gone.
guy's got a golden penis.
It killed him.
It killed him.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess.
Does that take the air out of the balloon?
Well, I mean, he's a gang member. I'm not
a
saying
gang
all
member.
gang members should die.
No,
but,
of course not. Man, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
It's a
But
damn shame.
I actually achieved the same effect with aluminum foil.
Oh my god. You yourself?
Yes, gold colored
Was that-
aluminum foil.
Was that
And I thought
before or after you saw the story?
after.
Okay, so you wanted to see if you
I
could
said,
do it.
I want to try the safe way.
You're like, oh, this guy died.
Yeah,
He did it the wrong way.
he did it the wrong way.
I'm crafty.
Yeah.
I can figure out a way to do this without
I'm
dying.
like, man, why didn't you call me?
So
Nazario, please. A little aluminum foil, you wrap it around,
So-
same effect.
it's funny because
You know what it's like? It's like walking around with an Oscar strapped on. Same thing.
So wait, you were walking around where, and were you wearing?
Where was I
anything else?
walking around?
Were you walking
I was
around the city?
admiring. I
Or
was
you-
just admiring.
Okay.
What'd your wife think?
She wasn't around.
Oh yeah, well, you couldn't do this with her.
There would be too much
laughing.
laughing.
Right. And then she'd be like, "Wait a second, where's your wedding ring?"
It's gold.
Let's go.
It'll be a matching set.
Yeah, this is a weird one, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So do you recommend people do this or no?
Not at all. I'm saying, well,
I'm not saying
my
the way
version-
this guy- I'm
Yeah,
saying
the
the way-
aluminum foil.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
definitely a conversation starter. At least if you're single.
I'm also thinking,
If you're
doesn't
married, it's going to have the opposite.
it
effect.
make noise with
Yeah,
aluminum foil?
it seems
Like-
very uncomfortable. Like when I think of aluminum foil, I think of like a weird sharpness.
Yeah. So how did?
Yeah, I don't think it's for actual, intercourse or anything.
Clearly
I think it's
not.
I think it just has aesthetic value.
It seems like the only reason you use tinfoil is to preserve. Right?
Keep it fresh. There
Keep
you
it
go.
fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Keep that out of
Texture.
the underpants. I want to keep that out of
rib
my
for
underpants.
pleasure or something like that.
I guess. Oh, you're weird. You're a weird man. You are a freaking
Look,
weird man.
I'm weird. Nazario did it.
Yeah, he
with
did.
lead to start.
So it killed him like right during the procedure? or
The details are elude me.
I want to say this didn't happen.
It did.
How do you? It comes from.
It's all over the
comes
internet.
from a website called Pop
Could it be
Dust.
wrong?
The hell's that? I feel like Pop that doesn't seem
No,
legit.
it was echoed everywhere.
And they're citing the World News Daily Report. That just seems.
You think that's questionable?
I don't know.
It's not an authority. It's not CNN.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
On tonight's news.
Well, you have like Wolf Blitzer breaking into
Yeah.
a golden penis, and he just talks about killing a man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Poor kid.
It's
But
nuts.
you know, when you start to worry about the youth, then there are these kids. I don't know their name in England, who have come up with condoms that glow in the dark, but not just any old glow. They glow in response to STDs.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
So it could be like, you know, pink for syphilis, orange.
You could make your own color-coded disease chart at home, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're actually going to sell this thing. It's called and the name it has a product name.
So
Do you know the name
no.
of these condoms? These very special condoms.
What are they called?
They're called the STIEYE.
All right, here's
It's
the
got
deal.
an eye.
Yeah, I get it. Here's the deal, right? Here's
The
why
magic eye.
Here's why this is stupid, though.
Oh,
Because when you've got the condom on,
right.
it's a little too late to find out about this stuff.
Ah.
Now, look, I get it. The condom is going to actually protect you
For next time.
right.
And
but
what if you're young and you want to take off the condom? These kids that did this are 14 years old.
what?
Yeah. They're thinking ahead, or they're early, you know.
So if the condom tells me my partner has syphilis,
Yes.
right? that kind of breaks the mood.
In the afterglow.
You run away.
In the afterglow, you say,
You're like, hold on.
look at the color
My
there.
condom's glowing pink right now.
Right.
I think you and I maybe should lose each other's numbers.
Right.
Oh.
Well, no. You're doing the gentlemanly thing.
Right.
You're
like,
saying,
look, this
you know,
just
honey,
isn't going to work out, as you can tell by
No.
No?
I think you're too fast. I think you got to say, you know, let's have a timeout and reconvene after you take care of that.
It's green for chlamydia, yellow for herpes, purple for HPV, and blue for syphilis. So
There we go.
There you go. That's your code. You got to keep.
What
that
if
on you.
all the colors like
Does it come with like a wristband so you know which one you're getting, or do you have to
with your
remember?
iWatch?
You got your Apple Watch and
Your
you have
Apple Watch.
your smart condom, and
When
then
your Apple Watch turns pink?
and after you
watch
take it off,
out.
you can put back your aluminum foil. It's perfect.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I like it, though. It's a good story.
It is a good story. It you know, kind of counterbalances the gold penis thing,
Yeah, for sure.
because that kid's dead, but these two 13 and 14-year-olds, they're off to fame and fortune.
That's the last penis story, though, right?
Let me check.
Check your notes. I think that's the last one. You have a lot of stuff today. I actually brought some stuff to the table as well.
I know.
That I wanted to get to.
Well, let's do it.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about is like some Uber stuff and some robotic self-driving
Oops,
car
on my
stuff.
list. Yeah, too.
All right, great. So
Synchronicity.
you can chime in.
Okay.
So two things. One, there's a big story that's really, I guess it's more like a non-story that came out earlier today, I think, or maybe late last night, about two self-driving cars that almost collided. You heard about this?
I haven't heard this yet.
It was like a Delphi car, Delphi or Delphi?
Delphi.
Delphi car and a Google car out west. They almost collided, and like that's the story.
Was any humans
So
involved?
so the way in which the self-driving cars have been approved to operate on public roads is along with the prerequisite that there's a human driver behind the wheel who can intervene if things get hairy. So the car apparently got cut off by another driverless car,
Uh-huh.
and there was no accident. It was just like a close call.
Because the humans intervened?
No, they didn't. So that's the thing. Like they're all
So what are they doing?
They're
Maybe they were sleeping.
right. So
in the newspaper.
well, whatever it is, it's like, why is that a story? No one got hurt. It's just two self-driving cars that didn't collide. Fine. So I was digging a little deeper on this story, and it turns out like we have not really thought a lot of this through. And I don't mean the technology, because this is gonna happen in the next 5 to 10 years. It's gonna be a mainstream thing, I believe. But you really got to think about like some of the more creepier, upsetting things that will wind up happening, where in certain circumstances where an accident is inevitable and you just can't avoid it, and the computer driving the car just will not be able to get a result where everyone avoids accident. So then computers are then going to be making decisions that perhaps a human driver would never make. Like, for example, if you're in a self-driving car and you're about to you're in a situation where you're going to like collide with a school bus full of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or does the computer say, well, I don't want 20 people to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just have my guy die and drive you into like an embankment.
It's like a greater good protocol. It's like, well, we could kill 100 or you.
Right.
So,
And on a...
Would a human driver do the same thing?
I don't think so. I think
No?
a human driver... I don't think a
just
human
plow
driver...
right into that bus.
Well, I don't know. I don't...
Through those kids.
These are decisions that are made in milliseconds.
Right.
Right? So a computer can handle that, right?
Yeah.
So what happens though? Like this is going to be a thing, right? Where a computer can detect everything else on the road, can assess what the, the probability of a fatal accident with this other Mini Cooper is super low, but with that school bus, it's super high. So I'm going to hit the Cooper.
So
and not
why
the
is this
bus.
bad?
It's not bad.
I
It's
think
just
this is
another,
good.
but what if you're in that car? Like, what if you're in the car that decides to go kamikaze? I guess kamikaze is the wrong term. What if you're in the car that decides to take itself out? Right? That's bad for Steve.
You're right.
So how do you feel about that? That is a cyberpunk future.
Well, okay, but if I had to intervene and then like plow and kill
You're
the
not
20,
quick enough.
No, but if we would do it the old-fashioned way and then you just plow into the bus and kill the 20 kids, then you'd feel really, really bad.
And then, but I guess, you hear where I'm getting at?
yeah, I kind of see what you're saying, but I would imagine that the protocols would set it where the car learns how to crash the safest way possible. So that way, you're not taking all the crumple zones actually crumple and you survive. So it's not going to send you in an embankment that's going to make you die.
Right.
It's going to set you up where you're going to get injured, but not as badly.
But how could you know that for sure?
What do you mean, how would you know that? The
I'm
computer
saying,
would know
how
that.
would you know? How could the computer? I guess you could always, err on the side of like probabilities and whatnot, and the computer would always make the right choice.
Right, it's going to figure out what angle do I have to hit this boulder,
Right.
such that this person in the car won't be killed.
And you could even make the argument, like, even in a world where every car is automated and every car is self-driving, there are still other acts of forces of nature that will intervene. Like a tree will fall, like a deer will come out. There are things that will happen that a computer is just going to have to make a split-second decision on, and it's kind of crazy. I feel like we jumped right into this self-driving car thing, and we're like, oh, that's cool, it'll be fine, they'll figure it out, which I still am very confident they will.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other elements we maybe haven't, the public, taken into consideration.
Well, I would
right
be
away.
comfortable with, sacrificing my life to save the 20 children.
You would.
I would. It's for the greater good. I
Maybe
believe in the
there's-
greater good.
Maybe there should be an option when you get into the
Yeah, you get
self-driving
in the car like,
Organ
screw them, or, I'm willing to take my chances. I'll let science decide
Well,
if I should
should the
live or
car
die.
like looked at your LinkedIn profile to be like, are you valuable to humanity?
Yeah, like
or
how
not?
much are you worth?
Like, what if
Right.
it's a prison bus? You're like,
Oh,
well, wait a minute,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
we
yeah.
should slam into that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I think you're
Give them
trying
what
to,
they
I
deserve.
think you're talking about the one of the end plots of Dark Knight Rises. What is it? The Dark Knight. With the boat full of criminals and
Actually,
the boat full of civilians.
I guess I am.
It's a similar sort of thing.
I've been influenced by
But what
the
if
media.
the car recognizes it's the kid that invented the STI?
Then they might try to-
see?
Oh, then they go, we got to protect this.
you
This is a valuable asset.
What if it's the president
Yes.
in the car
Right.
next to you?
Yeah.
Right? There
Then
you go.
you got to go.
We're painting a pretty bleak picture of the future,
I
huh?
think this is the future that's that's always existed.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to our program. We have a lot of great advertisers lately, and we really appreciate the fact that they help support the show. And most importantly, they keep it free for you. So one of the reasons why people love advertising with our program is that they know we have awesome listeners. Take a second, look in the mirror, and what you'll see is an awesome listener. So we need you, the awesome listener, to help us out a little bit. Do us a favor and go to podsurvey.com/CNET. Okay, that's podsurvey.com/CNET take the survey. Do it for us. Take it. It takes about 5 minutes, and we're going to ask you questions about yourself, what you like to buy, some personal information, but at the same time, it's completely anonymous. Your answers help us find advertisers that work for you, your interests, and that align with our program. When you're done, you can enter a monthly drawing, and you can win a $100 Amazon gift card. That's free money in case you weren't sure what that meant. Once again, head over to podsurvey.com/CNET. Do it for us, please. It's what keeps the show free and allows us to learn a little bit more about you, our listeners. So do us a favor, podsurvey.com/CNET. 5 minutes, anonymous, potential free money from Amazon.com, and you'll be helping us out at the same time. If you're one of those people who doesn't take surveys, let this be the one you do. Super easy to do, and if you want to support the show in any capacity without actually giving us money directly, head over to podsurvey.com/CNET, and that is just as good as sending us money, because this helps us, and we really appreciate it. So I know we talked a lot about, VR leading up to E3, and I do want to get to the Uber stuff too. But this plays better in with the conversation we just had.
Okay.
I think I was not sold on VR up until a week ago. VR it works. It's here and it works, and it's going to change the world.
Wow.
It's going. See, I feel.
You know what?
You might not be able to enjoy it though.
No, I
unfortunately
probably won't. But you know what I understand? It's like drugs, right? It's like it'll be so good that you won't get anything else done. You'll just be addicted to it. I was talking to a hi-fi salesman, and a middle-aged 40-something hi-fi salesman who told me that he is addicted to games. On internet games.
Well, like Warcraft.
He goes home and he's up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning playing games.
Did he say what game?
It's like screwing up his life. No, he didn't say what game. Or if he said, I don't remember.
There are people,
but it's like that's an addiction. So the better it gets, it's like heroin. It's like the more and more addicting it will be.
Of course.
Yeah, but couldn't you just have a shitty VR experience too? I mean, they're not all awesome, are they?
They're not all awesome.
You'll select though. You'll this is a crappy one. I'll look for the good one.
Right. Yeah. All the good stuff's going to float to the top. I mean, the Sony's Morpheus is not on the same level as Oculus by far. Oculus for me right now, and I haven't played with the Vive yet, the HTC Vive, but that Oculus Rift is going to blow your freaking pants off.
That's awesome to hear.
It is insane. Like some of the demos they were doing there. And people are going to be like, whoa, Jeff's way too pumped on this. You can't knock it till you tried it. And I know it's not accessible right now, and I know we are in a situation where we have the luxury of getting to try this stuff out early. But this stuff is going to change the world. Absolutely, without a doubt. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, sure, it could flop and something happens where, people just don't take to it for whatever reason. From what I've seen and the demos I've heard people tell me about and everything, all of the evidence I have in front of me, this stuff, I would be very surprised if this stuff did not explode and take off in the way I think it will.
What about it being disorienting, though? People say about watching 3D movies and stuff, it gives you a headache.
It is. And it takes your brain a good 10 minutes to sort of understand what you're seeing. I did this one thing where I was wearing a Morpheus headset and I was pedaling a bike. But the bike, when you're on a bike, you sort of lean and whatnot. And I was doing that on this stationary bike because my eyes were telling me, oh, you're out in a field. So there's a little bit of give and take that you have to do. But when it comes to stuff, when you move away from the gimmicky stuff like the bikes and whatnot, and you're just in a room with someone and you're spawning things with your hands and you're sort of... so
your hands are part of it?
Yeah.
And you can see your hands, right?
So the Oculus Rift has those, the half moon controllers where it sort of maps your fingers. Like you can see your hands in this thing.
Can you feel anything through your hands?
Not yet, but you will be. I promise you will be able to. This stuff, you talk about how much this stuff is still in its infancy and where it could be in 5 years, let alone 15, 25 years. Forget it. And it's not just games. Games is just the tip of this iceberg. That's just the first no brainer.
And it's not porno?
Oh, there'll be porn.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there'll be porn.
Oh, okay.
Now Steve's interested. Sign Steve up. Can I bang this? Yeah, you can bang this, Steve. Cool. I'll take 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be. It's gonna knock your face in the.
Wow.
You're gonna knock your face in the face. Is what this thing's
face
gonna
in
do.
the face. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
You're in the right business.
It's a good time for this industry for
Got
sure.
nowhere to go but up.
Definitely. It was a great E3 overall.
But seriously, I mean, this I can't get over this guy. He's not like a kid. He's in his mid-40s. How he was.
He's probably
that he's
a
addicted.
Warcraft guy. He
Yeah.
sounds like a World of Warcraft guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's screwing up his life. It's like a serious thing. Like
Right,
He
so what's the
goes to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's got to be at work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Sure. But it's no different than an alcoholic or someone who's got a cocaine problem.
He can't stop.
Yeah. It's
I'll just do it for
gambling.
an hour.
Think about gambling. Same
It's
with
like gambling,
Yeah,
right.
You
totally.
get addicted to anything, though, right? People
could turn
watch
anything into an
TV all the
addiction, yeah.
time or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean,
But this is more intense, apparently, right?
it's more life disrupting.
It's like TV is a more intense version of radio, but I mean, I think it'll balance out over time, right? You're gonna have people who never leave the house again, and they'll
Right.
be happy to do that.
Sure.
And then there'll be people like, wait a minute, I have to go out and like take care of my life every now. and then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like
happens.
he needs to seek out help. This guy, like if he came to you, he's a friend of
You
yours.
just mentioned it. That's all.
He mentioned it casually.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was a very quiet call for help.
He's sleep deprived, so he doesn't even know what he's telling you at that point. He's just like, okay,
That's true. Maybe.
All kidding aside, tell this guy, say to him, be like, Bob, we'll call him Bob. Like, Bob, you can talk to somebody about this. You can get help
Okay.
because it's not a normal way to live. I sympathize. Like I would love to stay up every night till 5 playing Batman, but I can't.
Right.
No, you
And
can.
You can.
It's going to ruin your life.
It's going to ruin your life.
Yeah,
and if you
it is.
operate on 2 hours of sleep every day, your life's going to be ruined. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to look like shit.
Yeah.
You probably smell like shit.
Yeah.
So,
Next thing you know, gold-plated penis.
and then that's it. And
Yeah.
then they're digging
And
you.
then you're
And they're
done.
digging you a hole.
Yeah.
All right.
So to speak.
Uber. I took
Uber.
So two quick anecdotal stories about Uber. I'm out in L.A. By the way, LA in L.A. Uber is free for the most part. Like it's free.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Like it costs very little money.
I mean,
Like
you get a ride. It's free.
yeah. I went 6 miles, 20 minutes. It was like $7 in LA.
How much is it here?
Here? That would probably be like 30. There is a difference in cost without.
Isn't
a doubt.
it like on a here? It goes up and down depending on
It's whatever
traffic.
whatever it
and
is
how
here,
busy
it's
things are.
the scale is higher. I'm a firm believer, and I don't know the magic behind the curtain, but there's no doubt in my mind that all that stuff is just elevated proportionally.
Right, but the rates
cost
go
of-
up and down. They're not static.
They do, but the in terms of like time versus mileage and distance,
Okay.
I think those rates here are higher than they are in LA.
Okay.
So like if you were to
But
take
everybody in LA has cars.
I guess if you were to take 2 of the exact same trips, the LA one would be cheaper. Anyway, you open up the app in LA, and there's like 90 different little Ubers you can do. You could do Uber Plus, Uber LUX, Uber Lux, all of these different Ubers I never heard of. So every night I was like trying a new one. I'm like, oh, what's Plus?
It's like a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Plus. So I do Plus one night. Guy pulls up in a Mercedes. I'm like, all right, I hit the good
nice.
one. I did the good one. I was like, shit, if this is Plus, I wonder what Lux is, right? So he opens up the door for me, almost like the whole white glove service. And he's like, hello, Jeff, how are you? I need you to know I only pick up people with ratings higher than 4.7. You're a 4.9. I was like, sick. Opens the door for me. We have a nice little conversation for 10 minutes. And he's telling me the whole time, he's like, I don't pick up anyone below 4.7. Can't be bothered with them. I'm like, why? What's so? He's like, they eat in my car. He's like, I had someone take a piss in my car. He's like, never again under 4.7.
And that guy was 2.
He must have been.
Or 1.
So yeah, I was kind of blown away. And then this week I had a driver who told me again my rating. So 2 people within 2 weeks have told me the rating that you're really never supposed to hear. Like as an Uber customer, you're not supposed to hear that number.
Oh. But when you call for a ride, they see you and they say, I'm not going to accept that?
Yeah, they
like
could-
you say, I want that guy,
Yeah,
and
well,
then they can say
get
no.
to choose. You can't accept it and then I guess you could do that, but you can't just accept it and then decline it.
Oh, but they see your rating.
When you do that, when you drop that pin, they know who you are and what your rating is.
Okay.
And they can have their own personal sort of, screening process where
Right.
they say, oh, Jeff's, Steve's a 3.2.
Yeah.
I'm not picking that bum up,
Exactly.
So this morning I had the same thing. And then I was having this conversation, and I feel like every time the thing that's different about an Uber and a taxi, in Uber I have these amazing conversations with these drivers.
I hate ththose, man.
Why do you hate
Because
those?
I'm in the car, I'm trying to get somewhere, and I'm not your friend. I'm
Sure.
paying you to drive me. So why are we talking?
And that's your prerogative.
Yeah,
if you
I'm
don't
with
want to
you.
talk,
Yeah,
you don't have
I don't
to
want
talk.
to talk to
Oh,
You don't have to.
did I tell this
You
story?
can just be
where-
like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I got to read something."
I tell you the story where a guy in Uber picked me up and had the Spotify Connect thing working on there where you had Spotify hooked up with it,
Yeah.
right? And so I wanted a song playing when I got in. So I was like, that's kind of neat. I want to try this for the first time.
Right.
And so I go, it's a little loud. Could you turn it down? He goes, new sound system. I go, no, seriously, can you turn it down? He's like, new sound system. And he turns the volume way the hell up.
Oh, that's a
So
dick move.
it's
That's
like-
1 star from me right away.
It goes on like this for about 20 minutes. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my music. I'm going to start singing along. Screw it. Like, I'm going to be really obnoxious at this point because I can't get this guy to turn the damn thing
Yeah,
off.
that's
I mean, I could turn the music
hit
off.
pause.
I could do that. But I was like, you know what? If this guy's not, after the first song, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. But when I asked him twice, I'm like, well, he's not, I don't know what kind of argument I'm going to get into this with this guy if I turn this off. I don't know what's going to happen because I still got, a good while to go on this
Yeah.
ride. It was one of the strangest trips I've taken because I wanted to sleep in the car. I just wanted to hear one song. But that was a mess.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So maybe he rated me. He was like,
Yeah.
and at the end, he's like, great playlist. And I was like, thanks.
Thanks.
I'm going to go to sleep now.
Wow.
Anyway, that was my last Uber experience, or most recent Uber
I
experience.
feel like the majority of the people I get are mostly friendly. I've had bad drivers, and I've rated them accordingly.
But on the whole, they're better than taxi drivers. That's what you're saying.
As much as it pains my father to
Oh.
say that,
He wasn't.
he's very involved in the taxi business.
So perfect. So those people who are the Uber drivers, right? It's their car. They pay for everything, right? It's their insurance. It's their car. It's their everything.
Honestly, he's the better guy to ask, but I do
But that's
believe
the-
that
the
is
case.
true. Yeah.
So basically, they're working for a fraction of what they would get if they were driving a cab. Not that cabs drivers are doing so great, but
Right. Not that they're
it's
doing
so
so great.
it's basically pushing everything down, except for the billionaire guy that started Uber. He's doing great,
Yeah, I mean,
but everybody else, like, it's your car, it's your insurance, it's your everything.
it seems
They're basically paying for the app to get customers because they
Right.
can't get hails.
right.
That's
They're
what
basically
that's what they're-
subscribing to that app.
Right.
So the way I understand it, and the way it was explained to me recently, is that the Uber driver community
Mhm.
is overpopulated in a lot of areas,
Mm.
and where it used to be that you would get a fare right away, now it could take longer.
So some of
And
those guys will go away
maybe, I don't know. I do know for a fact
because they have to keep driving around,
Right.
spending money on gas.
Sure.
Right. So they're not just sitting there waiting.
Right,
for
it's like this hourglass that's just like always
Right.
emptying.
Right.
There are more Uber drivers in New York City than there are cabs now.
Okay.
Which I guess is not surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird time for Uber. And
It's all part of the race to the bottom. I mean, it's a great service for consumers, but it's just it screws everybody else. Screws the
it seems like
professional driver.
it seems like we
community.
can't have these new web-based services without something eventually, like someone suffering at some point.
More and more people suffering.
It seems like the product is great on
The
paper.
rich get richer, and
Right.
everybody else gets screwed.
But like Uber's
Sorry.
thing for a while was like, you're gonna make $90,000 your first year driving Uber, and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know.
I can't imagine.
You would have to drive a lot, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I just, all those things really frighten me. That it's like the whole economy, it's the thing where rich people get richer and richer and richer than they've ever been before by a huge margin. And then everybody else, the middle class on down, is living on less and less and less in real dollars.
Are you gonna run for president again?
Yeah. This could be the year.
I think you could fix it.
I think I could.
I would love it.
Just VR for everybody. Nobody travels anymore. That's the first
That's it.
thing.
Right.
That's it
Gold penises all around.
for everyone.
A chicken in every pot and every
Lead
penis.
free, but lead free gold penises. Because I'm a health conscious guy.
You have a new method of plating then?
Yes.
So okay.
It's organic.
So your micro manifesto right there. You'd probably really enjoy this new show called Mr. Robot. Have you heard about this?
No.
Have you heard about it?
I've heard of it. And the big thing that stands out to me is the fact that they use the Sega font for Mr.
Yeah,
Robot.
so they're definitely ripping off the Sega typeface for sure for the show's logo. That is an issue, and I'm trying to get the producer and creator of the show into CNET so I can talk to him, and that'll be the first thing I grill him on.
Yeah.
He did the girl with dragon tattoo, right?
No, that's the director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the director of the pilot directed the Swedish version of that film.
That movie was freaking awesome.
So
Yeah.
how can I
Watched
see it?
all of them.
Where is it?
So it's on. Peculiarly enough, it's on USA Network, which is not a
Okay.
network known for cyber thrillers like Mr. Robot.
I don't know if I have that.
You do. It's standard. You have cable.
Yeah. of
You
course.
have USA.
Yeah, it's in basic.
USA.
I have a rabbit ear, and I go like this. I put aluminum foil on it.
Right,
Yeah.
and then you gold plate it, and
and I
you're
go
good to
play
go.
it.
So, Mr. Robot is probably the best attempt to tackle cybersecurity and the quasi underground world of hacking in the least cheesiest, corniest way I've seen in a while. Like, it's equal parts Fight Club. There's a little bit of like sneakers in it and hackers. And I guess you could say Hackers, being 20 years old now, is pretty damn cheesy for a film that covered cyberpunk and, hacking and whatnot. But it's pretty good. And I didn't think I was going to like it, and I wound up liking it. So if you haven't seen it, I believe the pilot is streaming online for free. It's called Mr. Robot.
Okay.
And Christian Slater's in it.
Oh.
Oh,
And
that's
people-
right. That's why I thought the show was doomed, because every time he's on TV, that show gets canceled within like a season or
Well,
two.
he's been on Archer for a few seasons, and that's been great.
Yes and no. It's animated, so it's not. I know he plays
Sure.
Slater.
It's easy.
But when Christian Slater is on a show, he used to be
He's like Kryptonite,
My
yeah.
Own Worst Enemy, which was a pretty good show on NBC, and that's survived the season. Then he was on another Fox show. I'm like, I'm not getting into that because I want to see if it survives the season. Gone.
Yeah.
So this one, I hear you're saying it's awesome, but Christian Slater, he's TV.
He's not
death.
he's not a huge part of the show. It's not about him.
Good.
At least in the pilot.
I mean,
It
I like
wasn't
Christian
about
Slater.
him. I really got nothing wrong with him. He was in The Wizard with Fred Savage and Bo Bridges in the Nintendo movie in the 80s. You don't know that film? Steve's like, what am I?
With
What
the
are you
Power
thinking?
Glove, right?
The Power Glove.
Powerful, of course.
So go watch Mr. Robot. I'd
I
love
will.
a report from you.
I will. Is it up there with Inside Amy Schumer? That show is
Totally
amazing.
different.
She is amazing.
You like yourself some Amy Schumer.
I do. She's just so funny and
great.
so weird and
She's
like,
definitely great.
uninhibited about being unattractive and
Well,
you know.
yeah, I mean, I don't think
She can look
she's
pretty-
necessarily unattractive.
No, she's not.
I mean,
but she can let herself be unattractive.
she has no what's the best way to put this? It's fun and respectable and to watch her sort of have fun with herself
Yeah,
is the I guess the most appropriate way to say it.
yeah, and she has good people surrounding her.
She's got great writers, right?
Right. And I like that some of the bits are really short. You don't have to
Yeah.
like suffer through 5 minutes of the same stupid thing over and over.
Right.
again. Get in.
She's
get
very
out.
funny. She's very funny.
Yeah, the pacing is great.
I like Broad City better.
I like Broad City better.
Okay.
But
Just want to
it's
get
not
that
on.
out there.
It's not on right now.
right.
So,
It'll be back soon enough.
it will.
Well, of course, they have a third season. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. We've covered a lot. What else do you have for us, Steve?
So, by the way, as just a quick aside, Saturday will be my 1300th audiophiliac block. We don't get to commemorate.
Really?
I don't. You did on this show.
So what are you going to gold plate for that?
I can't say. I'm not at liberty to say.
Gold plate a microphone.
Yeah. Anyway, it's,
Wow,
it's a
congrats,
milestone.
man. That's great.
1300.
1,300 is a lot. Why didn't you didn't do anything for your 1,000?
They wouldn't let me.
So
They said I couldn't do it.
who's they? The CNET
The
overlords?
people above. Yeah.
So are you? But you are doing something special for your?
No. I
Oh.
can't say, excitement, 1,300 or
Right.
1,000 or whatever.
Right.
I'm
All right.
just mentioning it. It was just a quick
Congrats,
aside.
man. That's a big milestone.
So, I was thinking about you being a new father.
Oh God. Yeah.
And I was thinking, I kind of knew who my grandparents were, but I never met my great grandparents. And people, some people know their great grandparents who were alive, or maybe even their great grandparents. But unless you're from like a very wealthy family, you don't know who your great grandparents are.
Right. You could probably look it up.
You probably could. But no one knows, unless you're royalty, who your ancestors were from 1,000 years ago.
Sure.
Or 10,000 years ago.
Right.
Or 50,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But backlars go back to infinity, right?
I guess eventually, yeah.
So what if what if there was a Jeff Backlar 10,000 years ago, and you were an Eskimo? This would make sense, right?
Okay, go on.
Like you were using your ice skills. This is how you got to be this way. It's like a recessive gene. Like you like cold and hitting things with sticks.
That's a reach, man.
It is?
Yeah. Eskimo, I don't look anything like an Eskimo.
Well, now it's been
thousands of
10,000 years later. There's lots of generations of Bacalars that have interceded.
I mean, I could take a DNA test and maybe find out some more of that.
Yeah. Or maybe you were in Russia, okay? Or cold Siberia.
I think
how about that?
I had to have been somewhere.
Do you like fish?
Yeah, I eat fish.
Okay, well, that's more proof.
There it is. Proof's right there.
You ever think about blubber?
You like whale blubber?
Yeah, do you?
Do you? Well, you clearly were
I'm
an
a
Eskimo.
vegetarian.
Right.
So, but, blubber? So anyway, but what if Woody Allen existed 10,000 years ago? Or you go back X generations to Woody Allen's ancestors, right?
Right, his legacy.
Was he the same guy? Was he like the same kvetchy, cranky,
I don't know about
annoying
Much
guy?
more brave to continue the line, you'd think.
Yeah,
I
Maybe
didn't
he's
think he
not
would
as-
survive, right?
yeah, he would
But what about me
his
10,000 years
his
ago?
personality, your personality, my personality, it's all affected by environment.
I understand that.
So-
but there has to be some innateness to it, right? There's like inner core.
I mean, I'm
thing.
probably oversimplifying the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the way you're describing it makes me like think to a caveman family, where
Right.
like one of them is like this nebbish Jew,
Right,
in the
like a
cave.
Jewy.
Like, why we always
caveman.
gotta eat all these tigers?
Hey,
This is
yeah.
crazy.
Can I just
Can
have
we
a
get
nice
can we get a light in here? Would it kill us? Like some like
more fire?
You know what? It's freezing in here. Anyone ever, like that? Is
Yeah,
that what you said?
yeah,
Like there'd always
yeah.
be like one annoying
Right.
guy in the cave.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's how there was progress. Somebody's like, why is it so cold in here? And they're like,
Exactly.
We can bring the fire inside.
Everybody else was chilling. The
Yeah.
Jew-ish person was fetching and saying, "We got to do something about the dark in here."
This is crazy. This is no way to live.
Yeah. Need bigger rocks.
What is it? So much to ask? I don't know, Steve.
Now, you don't think this has any
It sounds like a
credence,
Mel
huh?
Brooks movie, like a History of the World.
I'm saying it in a funny way, but I think that there's some part of it that has to be true.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
What about Martin Scorsese 10,000 years ago?
Yeah.
When he couldn't do, what's that thing that, now that we're not on video, that
where
square
you,
thing?
Yeah, where you make an L with both your hands
an
and
L,
frame up
yeah.
something.
Right, and frame thing.
Yeah.
Are they doing that? They had fingers then. They could have been doing it. Because he's like, wait,
Maybe
back up.
he was blocking out things. He didn't want to see, like, oh, there is a tiger. If I just look over here at that tree, if I just put my hands up, I can't see the tiger that will be eating me.
Right.
I love that this is what you brought us. This is like.
But wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go
So
on.
we took the trip back.
We did. We went all the way back.
But Dylan's children's children, right? Like
Okay, so now we're going to
1,000
the
years
future.
from now,
Yeah.
right?
Cool.
We think that we're hip because we have iPhone 6s, right?
Right.
But when there's the iPhone, 712,
Okay.
they'll look back at us and think we're like bugs.
Yeah. Like we're cavemen.
We'll be lower than caveman. At least there's certain things that we have in common with cavemen. But 1,000 years from now, human beings will be there will be so little human in them.
I guess, but 1,000 years from now,
Or 10,000 years
well, we would
from now.
still 10,000 years from now be closer to that generation than we were to cavemen, right? Yeah, we would be.
Well, in time.
In
but
time.
there'll be so much more. We've
And
only
in
had
technology,
technology
and
for
in
200 years, right?
exactly.
Being
Exactly.
generous with the 200 years,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Give it 1,000 years. Give it 10,000 years. You
Will
think
we-
VR is a big deal?
Of course. No, I know. Oh, I like. So what do you think? What do you think the world will look like in 10,000 years?
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I want you to think about it. We'll take a break, and I want to hear what you
All right.
think.
I'm going to put on my thinking.
Put on your thinking cap
Uh-huh.
and get back to us. We will be right back with Steve's vision of the future. Stay
I
tuned.
don't see so good.
You know what really gets me down, and I'll be honest with you, it's when I used to go to the post office. Notice I said used to, because I don't do that anymore. A lot of us are trying to find more time every day to get things done, and going to the post office for me was something that was slowing me down. I don't have time. And guess what? You don't need to go to the post office ever again, thanks to Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you can buy and print official U.S. postage right from your own computer and your own printer. Stamps.com will send you a digital scale that automatically calculates the exact postage you need for any letter or package for any class of mail. Never again will you waste valuable time going to the post office. You can do everything right from your desk. That's everything you need to do, only at Stamps.com. You print the postage you need, you put it on your letter or your package or whatever you have, you hand it to your mail carrier, and you, my friend, are done. And we actually use Stamps.com here at the 404 Show, and to be honest, we use it at CNET now in some capacity to send out our packages, whether it's stickers, t-shirts, giveaways. I used it to send an Xbox console a few months ago. That's pretty great. We're also giving away a promo code right now for a special offer. Use the code CNET, that's CNET, for a no-risk trial plus a $110 bonus offer. That includes the digital scale and up to $55 of free postage. Please help support the show. Do not wait. Head over to Stamps.com, and before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage. Type in CNET. Please do it for us. Stamps.com. Enter CNET, clicking the microphone at the top. And a big thanks to Stamps.com for sponsoring the 404 Show. Welcome back to the show. Steve goes...
Wait, that's it?
That's all the time you have.
My thinking cap is
Steve goes...
not thinking so
I'm
good.
like, stay tuned for Steve's vision of the future. Steve goes...
Now it is the future.
Steve's like, I can't see very well. Oh, man. So
We're in the future now.
we're in the future now. I mean, I love sci-fi stuff where they shoot you 10,000 years into the future, and it's all like
It's just like it
robot
is now.
organisms.
No, it's
or
just like now with bigger numbers.
yeah, robot organisms or whatever it is. So yeah.
Did you always think when you watch movies that the hairstyles of people in the future were just like the hairstyles in 1965 or 85?
but history,
enjoy that.
but fashion has a tendency to repeat
It's
itself.
cyclical. Yeah, you see those mutton chops. And you're like,
Yeah.
cool. That's going to be 20,000 years from now. Mutton chops are going to be in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
look at most people's eyeglasses.
Right.
Like they are hearkening back to the 50s and 60s right now.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
not the round ones. I'm waiting for those to come.
Right.
Back. I like
They'll
those.
come back. Don't
Okay.
worry.
Because I like those, and last
Harry
time I tried
Potter?
the round like John Lennon,
Right. Harry Potter.
and I
yeah.
wanted those,
Sure.
and then they said they don't make those anymore.
Right. They'll come back around.
Okay.
I'm
In
sure
the
you can find
future.
them now if you want them.
Yeah, but maybe it's 10,000 years from now.
So what does that future look like? You've had a minute. What does that future look like?
It looks very
Be-
cold.
You think cold? Do you think the world?
You're worried about two cars are about to hit each other, that a computer's going to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be very little human decisions made in 1,000
See,
years.
I
or
think so
10,000
too.
years.
Well, I think a lot of the world will be. I mean, I've said this before, but I think a lot of it will be automated and robotic,
And virtual.
right? And virtual. Like, do you think we'll?
Have bodies?
Do you think we'll just be like? Yeah. Do you think
You
we'll
think
all
we'll
be
have bodies?
uploaded into some sort of like Matrix
I think
mainframe?
that's definitely coming. I don't think that's a 10,000 year or
So you think-
1,000 years away. I
think
think
that's
that's hundreds of years
So you think there'll be this digital transcendence where
Yeah.
we no longer occupy
like
biological
my friend
beings?
addicted to games, pretty much everyone will be in that
So you
state.
live in a server rack somewhere.
Live in a
Yeah.
server, right? And then a certain class of people, like two extremes, the workers who have to physically move stuff around, right?
the drones.
The drones, but they could be human.
Wait, are these uploaded drones, or these are just the people moving the servers?
These are the worker bees.
These are the worker bees.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just
They
thinking.
have to work in the real world.
I was
get
thinking
stuff
about
done.
like a class system within the servers. Like there's you have the servers that have virtual machines, and those are like the poor. They can't even afford their own true
Yeah, they're on
server.
dial-up.
Right.
Yeah.
They're on
Yeah.
dial-up.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
They're only allowed a certain amount of packets and bits and bytes every day.
Right.
That's their ration.
Yeah, their data plan.
Yeah.
so to speak.
Ration. Yeah.
But then there'll be a big swatch of people in the middle who are in this virtual thing.
Right.
But then the elite, like the Donald Trumps,
Get to
will be,
the
will be
elite
back to
of the elite.
will be back in the physical world, and they'll have like everything to themselves. They'll have like entire, states that they can drive fast cars around, and
So you think the ultimate in freedom and privilege will be
back to physical.
Will be the ability to live in the real world.
Yeah.
Oh,
and eat food.
That's pretty
stuff.
dark.
Wow.
Like taste a real apple.
Taste real things. Yeah.
Instead of like this.
Yeah, you can get anything you want virtually for food and any taste you want.
Right.
But at the extreme end, it'll be actually eating real food.
I think the best way.
How's that for my thinking?
It's dark and I like it. I think the best way to sort of predict the future. It seems like humanity's purpose in life is to just emulate sci-fi movies, right? Like it seems like all we really want to do is get to the hover
We
boards
just want more
and the flying
stuff,
cars.
more, better, easier stuff. You know that thing about walking around like a zombie looking at your phone?
Yeah.
It's like the least amount of effort to do anything is the human goal, right?
Yeah.
If there's like 2 stairs, people will take the escalator.
Sure.
It's like they always opt for the simplest way of getting something done.
Right, and you could make the argument that
And
that's
when that
like,
becomes more and more possible, they will just take that more and more.
but you could make the argument that that's the path of least resistance is like ultimate efficiency, right? Like you could make the argument like the best way to get to somewhere is to like expend the least amount of energy, right? I'm not saying that like a world and where we're all
But can't we evolve that we don't have to think that way?
maybe
Because
but-
we used to have to like club animals and climb up trees to survive, to eat things.
right. Well, that's
And now
what-
when people have to do the tiniest thing like boil water or something, they freak out. It's like, oh my God, this is too much work.
that's how it's going.
It is a
man.
lot of work, though. You got to get the water in. You got to put it on the stove. You got to have the heat going. Then the apartment gets warm. And then, like, your nice air-conditioned apartment is now getting warmer.
Steam.
This is terrible. And your glasses get steamed up. You can't see anything.
You might
know,
burn yourself.
You see, this is You're right. This is horrible.
Yeah.
No one should ever boil anything again.
Right.
I mean, it's weird. It's scary to think about what the ultimate like end goal is for humanity.
Because what is the goal of humanity right now in 2015? The day-to-day person who lives in the United States.
Get
right?
the most amount of Instagram
It
likes.
needs-
That's the
Yes,
goal
that's
for
the first
humanity. That's
goal.
the first goal.
It's like the imperative.
Yeah.
Right? But basically, my view is to just try to fill your life with as many good and interesting things as possible.
Right.
Right? Not
That's
accumulating things.
Isn't that why people are like effectively staring at their phones? Because they're like, maybe there's something better here, something better here, something better there, something
right?
better
Yeah,
there.
they need that constant thing. Right. My flip phone doesn't do that, so I'm safe from that for now.
For why? I don't see you upgrading anytime soon.
I think there's an inevitability there that the flip phone will have to go.
Yeah, my dad finally got an iPhone.
Uh-oh.
It was a big
The
deal.
end is near.
He hates it though. He
hates it?
Yeah, you can't.
How long has he had it?
Like 4 months. He just
Is he
you know,
mellowing? He's got to be mellowing a little bit.
I just don't think he wants to give it the time of day. Like he just doesn't want to be he just doesn't want to be bothered with it.
Oh, so why doesn't he get a flip phone?
After a while, you just gotta put away old habits. You know, you just
So why
gotta.
did he get it? He just got it because it was
He got
time?
it because it was time, and he wanted to like see photos of my kid,
Mhm.
and he can't do that on his flip phone, and he wanted to enter that next level, I guess. And all of his friends have iPhones. It's not like he was going against the grain. It wasn't like he was, alienating himself. He needed to do it. And the phone was going to break one day. And can you get a flip phone? A new flip phone?
Yeah,
I guess you
I just
can.
got one.
You can, yeah.
I just got a new
Yeah.
one.
But then like people look at you weird.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So I have a thing about Bluetooth speakers and wireless speakers.
Well, they sound terrible.
They sound bad. Everything. So I had this idea. We just got in the sound room. We have this. I think it's $1,700 French, very high end Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
So I had this idea. Before there were Bluetooth speakers, there were boomboxes.
Mhm.
Right. Boomboxes were like the original wireless speaker. Wow. In 1968, we had wireless speakers. We called them radios. And then,
We call them radios.
so I put up a thing on Facebook to my friends and said, can anybody lend me a boombox? So
Yeah.
someone has stepped forward and is going to give me their boombox on Monday.
Like the cassette one too?
Yeah,
Or-
well, it's cassette and CD.
Right.
It's like this big. It's
Yeah.
like maybe like 15 inches wide.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to compare it to Bluetooth speakers and wireless speakers. Guess which one is going to sound better?
Well, what's the source?
a CD. I'll play a CD on both of them. I'll play an album.
How can you do CD with Bluetooth?
Well, I'll take a wire or I'll
Oh.
play the same thing off Spotify on the Bluetooth speaker.
Gotcha. That'll be.
So-
I'll read that.
Gee, which one do you think is going to sound better, Jeff? You think that 1991 Boombox will crush this ridiculously?
I don't know,
stupid
actually.
invention?
I
I think so.
I think the
it's gonna
boombox. I do think the boombox will sound better just because it's going to have better speakers in it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's going to be heavier, though.
It'll be heavier but it'll look cooler.
It'll look cooler.
That's for sure.
So that's going to be a good face-off.
All right. Excellent.
That's going to be fun. So I have one other quickie.
Okay, and then we'll get to some Reddit stuff.
Okay. So speaking of the past, the Sony Walkman is going to be 37 years old on July 1st.
Okay, he's entering mid-adulthood.
Mid-adulthood.
Just bought a Corvette, I heard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis,
He's not
yeah.
47. He's 37.
37,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Can't afford it.
Mini
but you got-
Cooper.
Yeah.
Mini Cooper, whatever. So anyway, I'm going to do a thing about my memories of the
Of
early
the-
days.
Yeah, the Walkman.
The Walkman and then the Discman.
Discman. I had that first Discman, man.
You did?
Man. It was
Man,
awesome.
Was it a D5? Do you remember the
Dude,
number?
I was like 11. I don't remember.
But anyway, I think that's kind of cool.
It is cool.
You know, because that really changed everything. That's where music became mobile.
Yeah, I mean, but the Discman
And
was
wireless.
plagued
Well,
from the start. Like that thing skipped, and you had to
they
hold
fixed
it.
that pretty
they
quick.
did. The skip protection started to work.
Yeah.
It was just I remember being like, man, they really gotta figure out a way to have this.
You were
not
very
skip.
impatient. Yes.
I was very impatient.
Everybody else was so happy that you could play a CD
I was
on
like,
the
this
subway.
is. I'm like, you guys haven't perfected this yet. I have a problem with
Well,
mine.
you were like the guy in the cave with the.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
too hot in
is
here.
this the best we can do? I remember I had that Panasonic yellow one. That was like the waterproof
one, the
sports.
Oh yeah.
that thing
Those
was
nice
great.
headphones, those
Yeah.
really thin ones, and gray. It was yellow and gray for some reason.
I remember mine was yellow, black, and orange.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would
So-
love to find and it had these very satisfying clasps on either side
Ah.
that snapped in, gave you that nice sort of firm hold. I was a big fan of that thing. Okay, let's jump into the Reddit section of the show.
What is that? I know what
you know
Reddit
you've
is.
never been. You know what Reddit is. So
Yeah,
we have
but
a
I don't know what
subreddit,
Oh,
and
okay.
each and every week we post a little thread for that Friday's show,
Oh, okay.
and people throw in stuff.
Okay.
That Uber stuff is so great. Would you listen? Like I was having this conversation with this Uber driver, and I was like, I want to broadcast my conversation with you. I'm gonna do like an Ubercast.
Uh-huh.
Would you want to hear that?
Yes.
You would.
Yeah. Well, you do
You
it
have
and
the
then
mic
see
them
if
up.
it's,
It's
any
almost
good.
like a taxi cab confessional sort of thing.
You're gonna,
Yeah.
You're gonna carry mics on you. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna make
I
this?
feel like I could get away with
On the
recording
phone,
on
right?
the phone.
Yeah.
It'll sound like shit,
Get
but
like a Zoom 4, a little,
Yeah,
recorder,
Zoom. I like the Zoom.
and just do like a Periscope when you're doing it live.
just be like, "Hey, dude, is this cool if I record this conversation?" And then what if he's like,
No.
Well,
"No"?
if there's no, then you can't do it.
And I'm like, "Oh, you ruined it. You ruined."
And that's the whole conversation. That's the episode.
that was episode 1. I'm gonna start doing that Ubercast.
Yeah.
All right, back to Reddit. Jay Bruzzle wants to know, and we've covered this with you, but I will entertain him nevertheless. Not sure if this has been covered previously, but have you,
Mm-hmm.
Steve, actually met the other, the second Steve Guttenberg?
We have.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
It says in parentheses, as made famous by the Stonecutters. Is that what he was made famous by?
That's a song in The
No.
Simpsons.
Right.
Police Academy. Was,
Yeah.
the other.
Well, they actually say it in the song, "Who made Steve Guttenberg a star?
Oh,
We do."
dude. Nice.
Yep.
Correct.
Luckily, I missed
That's
that.
what he's
You
doing.
don't know what the Stonecutters is with the Simpsons?
No.
No? All right.
It's Homer the Great.
Have you ever met him?
Nope, never met him, but I know people who know him, and we keep almost getting together. But we haven't met.
And is he aware of you?
Yes, he's aware of me. Well,
Good.
first of all, if you do a Google search on Steve Guttenberg, he's number 1 and number 2, and I'm number 3. So if he ever
There's
searches his own name,
Who's 2?
he's number 1 and I'm number 2.
Oh, I thought you said you're number 3 and there was
well,
another one.
I'm like the third one down.
All right. I got
Last
you.
time I checked.
Any
So
personal,
he has to be. He has to Google his name.
and you have any personal thoughts about him?
You know, I do, because I was really embarrassed when he started making really awful movies. And,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I shouldn't say this in case I meet him, but it's like he made such awful, he made some okay movies, but then he made some really embarrassingly bad ones.
Like
And I
what?
thought,
like the Men and the Baby ones?
no,
those
after
aren't
that,
bad.
After that, there was this one, I was still a movie theater projectionist, and I was thinking, God, this is really going to, I have to say something
It's
about
going to
this
lower
if
my
I'm-
personal
Yeah.
stock.
And then there was this thing, it's so long ago. I think I've talked about this before, right? That my father had another family.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if you've ever really, you've told me about it.
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
if you've said it on the
maybe I thought Steve Guttenberg could actually be my brother. I thought it'd be like my father's thing that he would name his children from both families to give them the same name. So
Be consistent, easy to remember.
Yeah, easy to remember. Yeah. So I thought, wouldn't that be weird if he was my brother? He isn't. I think I know now enough about him. He's not my brother, but he could be my brother.
And I'm sure we've just opened up Pandora's box for some of the listeners. They're like, what? Steve has another family?
No, well, I do.
You have a set of step siblings.
I have step siblings. I do, yes.
And you've met them?
Who I've never met.
Who you've never met?
Never met.
Are they in this dimension?
No,
parallel
they're
dimension.
10,000 years ago.
Do you have
Separated by time.
do you have the desire to seek them out?
No. I don't even like a lot of my relatives who I
Even
do
though
know,
you share
who I
this-
do know,
but
who I
even-
have met, I don't like most of them.
But that's fine.
I don't understand this whole family thing. Actually.
I know.
It's kind of confusing.
It is confusing. I'm
supposed to like
sympathize.
you because I'm related to you?
Right.
Is my question? I don't think so.
I mean, it does seem
No,
ridiculous.
you're supposed to love them because they're related to you.
It makes-
You don't have to like them. That's what I learned about family.
Love them?
That's the thing. Like,
Love
you're
is
supposed to-
stronger than like.
I know, it's a weird thing, right? You're supposed to care about them, and if they get hurt, you're supposed to care. But it's nice when you actually like your family, though. You're like, oh,
So here's the deal. I think it applies for your immediate family, right?
Immediate
your
family.
parents,
Yes.
of course.
Yes. We've spent
your
our lives
siblings,
together.
Your siblings,
Yes,
of
right.
course.
Yes.
But really beyond that,
Cousins
I'm
that I
kind of
saw
with
like
you.
3 times in my life? No, I don't think so.
Right.
I actually met one of my cousins I haven't seen
But
in
that's
like 25 years.
but that's the thing.
That was not good.
But
That was really bad.
But that's the thing, right? Like your dad's brother, your uncle.
My uncle, yeah.
Your dad has that relationship,
Uh-huh.
but you don't because it's not your
Right.
dad, right? So
Right.
you understand how complicated it gets.
It's very complicated.
So
So no.
and you have no desire to meet these other Guttenbergs.
My siblings? No.
Yeah, your step
My
siblings.
step siblings, no.
It's a nutty story. We'll read it in the book when it comes out next year.
I am writing a book.
I know.
Very slowly.
Very slow.
It's not about that, though. It's about being a projectionist.
All right. Well, you can pepper in some of your personal stuff. Guy from Trinidad loves that you're here and wants to know your whole opinion on the Taylor Swift Apple stuff.
Yay. She did the right thing.
Right, but
I'm not so sure about the photographer thing, the thing about the freelance photographer.
I don't know what that is.
She doesn't let people take her picture. There has to be like all sorts of clearances and hoops you have to jump through, and then basically Taylor Swift Inc. owns the pictures that are taken of her.
So she came out and became the spokesperson for independent artists,
Right.
even though she's the least furthest.
There's a
from it.
reason to hate Apple. That she had to shame them into doing.
Right, she had to shame them into doing it.
Company
And
that's $100 billion in the bank.
right, and they're like, we're not going to pay artists for 3 months.
But it's those micro payments of
Right, and that's my thing, like-
so what's the big freaking deal? You write the check for $12 million, we're covered.
Right, and you're done for the 3 months.
Yeah.
So here's what I don't understand.
That
Like,
sucks.
right, it does suck. And clearly she's not someone who needs the money.
She didn't do it for herself.
She didn't do it for herself,
She's
and
not an
that's-
independent artist.
Of course she's not. And that's cool that she did it.
Yeah.
But for the independent artist, they're still, I mean, okay, now they're going to get $30 instead of nothing, right? Like
On a good day.
on a good day. So what do we do?
I do have a solution to this vexing problem. Now,
Okay.
the mechanics of how it gets done, this is trickier. I'm not an accountant. But, the way the pie is divided in the Spotify title world is the people at the top, the Taylor Swifts, the top of the pyramid people, they get paid first. Now, let's say I love Miles Davis and I listen to nothing but Miles Davis for 24 hours a day on my Spotify account. Miles Davis estate still gets a tiny, tiny, tiny payment, not like 70% of my $7 of my $10 subscription. It doesn't go to him. It goes to Taylor Swift first. She gets paid, and all the people at the top of the pyramid get paid.
So
A more equitable system would be that the people who you listen to, if you're really into LCD Sound System and you only listen to LCD Sound System and 2 other bands, that they would get the money. They would get 70%, because they always say they pay 70% of the things back to the artists and labels.
right.
That would be the right thing to do, and that would be, the way it should be really divided. It shouldn't just be divided among the people at the top and then the trickle down to everybody else. because not everybody listens to everything, right?
Yeah, it's
That is the solution, and there are reasons why that can't happen because record companies have a lot of say so of how that happens, and they don't necessarily give a shit about those people at the bottom. So that's why it's not happening. But if the fans sort of rally together and thinking about that, I think they would have a shot. And I'm going to try to use my massive influence to make
all right.
that
Just
happen.
don't start another title. Just don't do that.
I like title.
You like the technology.
It sounds good.
You
I'm
don't like
enjoying
what
it.
you don't like their business model.
No.
No.
And I've told them so.
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
It sort of did. That was good enough for me for Friday. JDLR28 says, this I like. Steve, give some recommendations on custom in-ear headphones. Let's do like a low, medium, and high.
Well, customs start at around $400.
Okay, so that would be low.
No. And there's this company with a great name called 1964 Ears.
Perfect.
They didn't start in 1964.
Right.
And they just
obsessed
like
with
the
that.
number.
Sure, I get
They
it.
just like the number. And they're really nice people. I think they're in Florida. And that's the entry level.
Medium.
Medium. There's these guys I've been writing about in California called Noble, Noble.
Mm-hmm.
They do custom and universals of all their models, which is most custom headphone companies only do custom, but this company Noble does all of their models. They do universal fit and custom,
Cool.
and they're terrific. I just reviewed one. You should Google that.
Okay.
And then at the extreme high end, there's Jerry Harvey Audio, JH Audio.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Harvey invented the custom in-ear monitor
Damn.
that every band in the freaking universe has those stuck in their
Damn.
ears. He was working for Van Halen,
Mm-hmm.
and they were complaining about their stage monitor, the wedges and stuff. And I said, you got to figure out another way to do monitors.
He's like, I got an idea. We'll put them
Yeah.
right in your ear.
Yeah,
And
he
how much
really
are
did.
those?
He really did.
And how much can those be?
Those can be at the top end $2,500.
Damn. All right. That's
But
not
they are
terrible.
made by hand. All custom headphones have to be made by human beings.
Right. Not robots. Not
No,
robots.
and everyone is unique.
Awesome.
They're bespoke.
Yeah, I like that. Finally, Fan Banlo says, what are your thoughts on the next waves of Dolby Atmos and the DTSX AV receiver and how those speakers fire up? What do you think about that?
It's going down.
Yeah, you don't like it?
I think it's a really stupid idea. It's okay for movie theaters, but I'm reviewing one today. Actually,
So the Atmos is the Dolby technology speaker where they aim sound up and bounce it off the
Right.
ceiling. Yeah.
I mean, the cool part of the technology is that instead of being like 5.1 or 7.1, it's called object enabled. So
Okay.
it's not in a specific channel. It's moving sound between speakers. So whether
pretty
you have
cool.
5 speakers or 8 speakers or 12 speakers, it kind of moves things front to back, up and down in space in your room. So that's good, but most people want, what the magic number is for speakers?
One. Yeah.
One. They don't even want 2 speakers.
They don't. They just want
Two
one.
speakers are one too many.
Do you think we're there? We're getting close to one where you're happy with it?
No.
So you always want 5.1.
For movies, no, I'd be happy with 2, me personally. But
Right.
I think one is one too many. This is one.
So here's my thing, right? Like I love having 5.1 in my living room. I love
Congratulations,
Yeah.
you're rare.
I know. I have an Onkyo.
Do you know
setup.
anybody else that has one?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, okay, do you know any
IS
people
does.
who aren't in the
but-
biz and
people who don't work for
technical
CNET. Yeah,
pretty-
I maybe like 10%, 10 to 50% of my friends.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Wow.
not a lot.
No,
I mean,
that's
still
way more than I would
It's like
guess.
not a lot of people, but yeah, they can have it, and a lot of them have like HTIBs. But I think there's some good HTIBs out there. I think Onkyo makes a good HTIB.
They're
don't
almost gone.
Onkyo,
No, home theater boxes are almost
right? They're on their way out, right?
because people have sound bars.
Right. So my whole thing is, I had to recently replace my Onkyo receiver. It just
Oh, no.
wouldn't power up. Just
Oh.
wouldn't turn on. I guess the fuse blew or whatever. There doesn't seem to be a solution. You can mix and match, and that's not a problem. You replace the receiver, but there doesn't seem to be a solution yet where it's like you don't have to worry about 5 speakers, and you don't think we'll ever get to the point where one sound bar is just going to really deliver unbelievable.
In 10,000 years.
See, that should have been your answer. That's your answer. What's 10,000 years going to look like? One speaker. That's what it's going to look like. All right. that's going to do it for us. Steve Smear, always a pleasure, sir.
This was good.
Thanks for being here.
I like not having cameras here.
It's nice.
I could feel more uninhibited.
It's
I was
nice.
always worried if I was looking the right way.
No, don't worry. People want to look at you. Don't think they didn't want to look at you.
I can just watch a Steve Guttenberg movie.
And what about all your fancy T-shirts, man? People are missing out on that. You're just wearing. See, you're dressing down now because you're not on
It's
camera.
bright red.
Yeah, I guess so. Shoot us an email, the404@cnet.com. We're here to answer anything you might want to talk about, and then head over to the subreddit, reddit.com/r/the404. We are off next week because of the 4th of July holiday, but we're back the week after that, which I believe is July 10th is when we'll be back.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic holiday next week. Have a great weekend this weekend, and we'll be back very soon. Until next time, I'm Jeff Bacala.
I'm Ayaz Akhtar.
I'm Steve Guttenberg.
You certainly are. Thanks for tuning into the 404 show. We're doing Beast casts this week and next week, so check that out, and we'll see you next time.